Drew got Michael's wife, and now he's trying to take his kids. But hey, y'all, welcome back to another review with lchessica for General Hospital, April 14, 2025. Okay, y'all. So first things first, let me know y'all thoughts on today's episode down below. Look, I said with this whole Drew situation, what do y'all think this is about? Where do y'all think they're headed with this whole storyline? Because I'm like, okay, now he was talking about, look, we ain't supposed to talk about them, but at the same time, that's the one thing aside from the Alexis situation that stood out this episode. Because I'm like, why would you he was telling her on today's episode, if something were to happen to you, then he want to be able to, get the kids. He want her to sign this document saying that he'll get the kids if something happens to her. I was like, what's gonna happen to her though? What you expecting to happen to her? And I was like, what about Michael though? And then it's so many things that I'm like, okay, where are they going with this storyline? Who do y'all think it's what people been saying, that that's not actually Drew, that it's somebody else in a Drew mask? Let me know down below. But yeah, I was like, okay. Then he told me he had the liberty of drawing up the papers. What? And she like, I trust you more than anybody. I said, girl, please, Willow. Oh my goodness. I trust you more than anybody. I said, never sign nothing without looking at it first of all, because you don't know what it say. Then the whole thing about in the event that something happens to you, the kids, you ain't even there for your own child. What the freak you gonna do with how many kids Michael got? It's Wiley and Amelia. Yeah, two. You ain't even there for your own child. What you talking about? But okay, y'all, we're gonna start off with Carly and Brandon. So she came back to the hotel and he was like, how did it go? And she was like, she may have just made a mistake and handed the kids over to Willow and Drew or whatever. And they started talking about it, and she was telling him everything that happened. I was waiting on him to say, you know what, I got your bag. If you need anything, I can make something happen. Because they always reach out. The WSB always doing something they ain't got no business doing. So why not? He been study helping at this point. But yeah, that's what I was expecting him to say. But yeah, he was trying to reassure her that she may have did the right thing, set a trap for Willow and Drew to make a mistake. And I'm like, okay, so what's the mistake? Signing the paperwork saying that Drew would get custody of the kids if something happened to her. Because I'm like, why would that come into play right now? She ain't sick no more. I know sometimes they say cancer can come back, so maybe that. But I was like, why? She's not sick. He told my son, if something happens to you or whatever, is that just in relation to if she died or something? Or is that like, okay, if she got arrested or something like that? Because I'm like, how? First of all, once again, you don't even take care of your own daughter. Where is she? Where is she now? Shoot. But yeah, he was just reassuring her that she did the right thing, and she just set the perfect trap. And she was speaking on what Jason said about how Jason said, you need to chill out. You need to chill, you making things worse, just play nice or whatever. And I said, okay, I'm ready. I'm so ready to find out what's his end game. I'm ready to find out his end game. I'm ready to find out if he in cahoots with Sidwell and them. I'm ready at this point, because I feel, look, y'all know I'm always thinking somebody in cahoots together. But yeah, I don't know. But then we got Willow, Drew, Nina, and Kai. So, what happened? What was they talking about? I think Drew was telling Willow he won't let Carly take her kids because she was worried. And she was saying how she don't think Carly ever cared about her and all this other stuff. And also, I forgot to mention, Carly was saying how she thought that Drew was the one, in charge of everything and doing this and that, but she underestimated Willow. So I was like, they both talking about each other. I said, both of y'all being manipulated, though. Both of y'all being manipulated. But yeah, with them, he was just like, I'm not gonna let that happen. I'm not gonna do that. You ain't doing nothing. You ain't even doing your job. You ain't doing neither one of your jobs. You ain't taking care of your daughter, and you definitely ain't running what is he, the congressman or something like that? Yeah. I was like, you ain't doing it either. That reminds me, because I was just about to say, they need to be voting. Instead of Laura losing her job, he need to lose his job. But yeah, I was gonna speak on, did y'all see that promo this morning, where, what all did they show? I think they supposed to be having that little thing where they vote to decide if they're going to use the project at Sunny's waterfront or something else. I think Boyle was there. Did they show Drew? I don't know. What else did they show? Did they show Christina and Alexis? I don't know. I can't remember what all. I just know they're supposed to be having that little meeting thing. I know what else they showed. They showed, what's his name? Marco, Sewell's son, and Sunny and Diane. They was all at his place, and he was like, I know who you are. You're Jen Sewell's son or something like that. And Marco was making like this face or whatever, and Diane looked shocked. I can't remember if they showed Christina or not. Look, I'm still waiting on them to take. I was hoping that this was the episode that they take her away. Look like Alexis on tomorrow's episode. Look like she actually about to do it. She actually about to sit up here and get this lady money. So I said, first of all, even if you give her money, what's to stop her from still turning in Christina? Duh. I said, Alexis always do the worst thing. She be having every opportunity or whatever. Then, not to mention the fact that they'll sit up here and have those moments where they be like, Sonny this, Sonny that, and he need to pay for this, and he need to turn himself in that, but you over here protecting your daughter. You're here protecting your daughter. But to finish with Willow now, Nina was trying to tell her to do the right thing. You don't need to do nothing drastic, and Drew still talking about some. No, she don't need to play nice. She don't need to do this. You need to stay out of it. You don't cause all this damage. Wow, you partially caused this damage or whatever, and you still over here interfering. I'm trying to remember what else happened with them. I think Kai had knocked at the door and he was trying to talk to Drew, but Drew was like, "It's a family thing. We having a family moment or whatever." So he ends up leaving, and that's when Drew was like, "I'll be right back. I'll be right back." I was like, "Where that was at? In his safe, Nina? You didn't see that paperwork in his safe when you was over there snooping? You didn't see that?" But yeah, so he was like, "I'll be back," and I thought he was about to make a call or something. I thought they was gonna serve Carly with papers or something like that. I was waiting on that. I wasn't expecting him to come back and say, if something happened to you, basically he wanted to be the one to take care of the kids, and he was like, and vice versa, you could get scout and everything. I said, so forget Alexis now, forget them. I said, trying to make it seem like he's the only one that she can rely on. But what else did he say? He said something. What did he say? Basically, he wanted to keep Carly. If I'm not mistaken, he said Carly and Tracy. I think he said keep Carly and Tracy away from the kids. I said, how you gonna be for real? And I was like, Willow's so far gone. And I was like, they should have got her help. Or she should have went to therapy. She should have did something because obviously, like people been saying, Shiloh 2.0 or worse. But yeah, what happened to Shiloh anyway? What did happen to that man? I don't know. But yeah, I think their scene ended with him giving her the papers, and she was like, I think she said, if I'm not mistaken, that this seems kind of extreme, but then she was like, but I trust you more than anybody, and she signed it. Girl, that don't even make sense, because one, it's Michael, and then, she did say that. She was like, Michael do whatever Carly say, he do. Michael do whatever Carly say, so I know he's going to try this and that. What's crazy, though, one, you started out, you the one said all this emotion because you cheated. Two, you the one talking about taking folks' kids and stuff. Now, he did try, I think he filed paperwork or something like that, but he was only doing that because, he wanted to start it out. He wasn't actually trying to take the kids away from her. That reminds me, y'all. I think it was over the weekend. Over the weekend, I seen something that says that the character of Michael is being recasted. Did I say that right? Recasted. Ain't that the same thing? If somebody fill in or what? I don't know. Either way go, they said they found somebody else to play Michael as of right now. I don't know how true that is. I don't know if there was just people talking, but that's what I seen. You know how I always say I be going to Google to type in stuff, and since I search General Hospital spoilers and stuff like that, it recommends articles and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know how true that is. It could have just been fans talking, but yeah. What else? Portia and Trina. So Trina was talking to Portia about Kai's surgery, and she was worried. And Portia figured out that, she's afraid that it's going to be a Spencer situation, that she's going to lose Kai like she lost Spencer, and how she has feelings for him. She has strong feelings for him and stuff like that. I'm still waiting on them to bring Spencer back. Even if it's recasted, because I've been getting used to Brennan. Now, I was skeptical because I was like, the other dude, he did a good job, but this dude, he doing a good job too. I got to say that. He doing a good job to me anyways. But yeah, Trina and Portia was just talking about Kai's surgery, and she was like, I can't, go into details about it. And she was just trying to let her know she did the research, but she didn't say, what she discovered. But by the end of that scene, Kai had came in because she called, and she said by the end of the episode, she can't recommend it because, only 2 people had a success story. He was like, well, I'm going to be the third, and he has decided to do the surgery. And look like on tomorrow's episode, he's going to be talking to her, saying that he wants her beside him. I said, he going to have the surgery, and Drew going to want something. Drew over here building his team or something. Look, I'm ready to find out that, too. Look, I don't skip some stuff. Drew also, he was saying that maybe they should get a restraining order against Carly or whatever. And I said, how does that work anyways? If you get a restraining order, do that mean a certain distance? Can Carly still come get the kids, or she got to stay away all the way? Yeah, I'm like, when he said that part, I was like, okay, Drew, you really trying to isolate her from everybody, and she still not caught on. She still haven't caught on. I still said the same thing, that he gonna be the one to tell. I might be wrong, but I'm just talking. But I feel like he's gonna be the one to tell about Nina. That's the final icing on the cake, because she was talking about, I forgot that too, dog. I forgot everything. She was saying, I don't know what led, people to turn their back on me and all this other stuff. He right in front of you. Hello. Yeah, and I was like, yeah, because now Carly, they gone. Michael, he, out of town or whatever. I said out of town, but yeah. I said the only person left or standing in his way is Nina, because he was like, oh, we need to talk about that later, because she was trying to say she don't think that's a good idea to do anything drastic and stuff like that. He's like, we could say that for another time or whatever. And I said, Willow, just be going with anything. You got to have a mind of your own, girl, at this point. But yeah, I was like, yeah, Nina, you next. You next, buddy. You're next. The time is ticking. You had every opportunity. So if he decide to tell her the truth, it's on you. It's on you, because you the only person left. Aside from her kids, you are the only person left. Well, it was somebody else, wasn't it? TJ, he gone. Was it TJ she was talking to? No, it was Chase. It was Chase. So Chase, Nina, the kids or whatever. But yeah, who else we got? Ava and Rick. Okay, so with them, I was like, they being too greedy, or Ava being too greedy. So she decides to go tell Rick, everything that happened with her meeting with Alexis and everything. And we're going to get to Alexis. We might as well do Alexis and them last. So we're going to do Sonny and Laura next. But I was like, she being too greedy. She talking about double now. I was like, Alexis, either go to Sonny so he could get the money so you won't have to embezzle this money or steal. I said, can't she go to jail for that? She could definitely go to jail. Well, these people don't go. If they go to jail, but they don't stay in jail. They go to jail, but they don't stay in jail. I was like, ain't that illegal to steal something that don't belong to you? Well, nowadays, never mind. But yeah, she was telling about the meeting and everything, and he studied over here like, you might have gave her 24 hours to come up with a solution and stuff like that. It looked like she still ain't decided to sign the doggone papers and stuff, because the girl over here talking about, yeah, I see, I did wrong. She's like, I'm glad that you see that and you doing better. Girl, then she just over here mess with somebody's brakes. How she changed that fast? Be for real. But yeah, yeah, he was trying to tell her, you may have just gave her time to come up with a plan or whatever. And he was talking about he want his cut and stuff like that. And she said that, Alexis doesn't know that you know about Christina or whatever. So I was like, yeah, Alexis finna mess up. She always do. I be shocked. I said, have her committed or either go to Sunday to get this money so you won't have to sit up here and take Sunday don't belong to you. But they always do the opposite. But yeah, he was basically telling her not to underestimate Alexis, and he reminded her that she has to share the money with him, and she was like, she only got to share because Alexis is gonna give her double. And I said, that's what I mean right there. People always think they'll sit up here just like the Portia and Drew situation. You do one thing, he's still not satisfied. You told her to do this and she did it. She ain't got no control of what this man do afterwards. So I was like, yeah, Alexis finna mess up. Because Ava's supposed to be telling her on tomorrow's episode that now she wants double. And I was like, see, have her committed. I was like, have her committed or either go to Sunday or both. But yeah, what else happened with them? I think that's all that happened with them. Sonny and Laura, I forgot to write down Rocco, but they weren't doing that anyways. She ends up informing him that they still trying to, seize control of his waterfront, and he felt some type of way about it, but they end up, still being cool and everything. Look, I skipped over the part where Willow was telling Nina that she's scared that maybe she is like Nell, and Nina was just encouraging her, letting her know she's nothing like Nell and stuff like that. And she was just, mentally, what she said, something was wrong with her mentally. That's what she said. She didn't say it like that, but yeah. But yeah, Laura was just letting Sonny know. I said, see, you can't stay away from him. That's why they trying to give you the boot now. You can't stay away. But yeah, they was just talking about that, and he felt some type of way, and he was like, he gonna do something about it. And she was trying to encourage him, discourage him from doing that or whatever, and then telling him, just trust me, trust you finna get fired. No, you finna get the boot. But I don't know how this gonna play out. Like I said earlier in the review, they supposed to be having the little meeting thing. Look like it's gonna be in the courtroom. I don't know, but they supposed to be having a little vote or whatever to decide, if they gonna have it. I said, what if they what if they also vote to see if they gonna remove her as mayor? But I think they got interrupted by Rocco, and he was just practicing for his debate or something like that. That's all that happened with them. And lastly, we got Alexis, Molly, and Christina. So Alexis got to the house. I think first she was on the phone with Diane, and Diane was telling her, you need to get this done. You need to sign the papers. And she was like, I don't know if I'm gonna sign it. I don't know if I want to, send her daughter to the crazy house. But yeah, and then she walked in. She was surprised to see Molly and Christina. She forgot about the Davis girl night or whatever. So they all just sitting there. Christina stood up apologizing. You could tell she guilty. You could tell she guilty about something. And Molly was saying how good it is to have her back. And Christina was talking about, she feel like herself, and she put all that in the past, and she learned, and she's changing. And Alexis just sitting up there being stupid. She just over here eating this stuff up. I'm like, Alexis, ain't that the first time? Don't they? What they be saying? Like, I mean, some people do take accountability and be like, I've been tripping lately. I've been doing this and that, or something like that. She over here, yeah. I was like, but with this situation, she just don't want people to know what she did, obviously. she even started to ask about Rick and how's he doing, how's Rick doing, and all this other stuff, talking about Elizabeth. And I was like, guilty, 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 guilty. And Alexis just sitting up there. I said, she ain't signing no papers. So it was a scene where she went over to her bag and she had the papers. I thought she about to rip it up or something. She was just looking at it and she just put it back in there. And then she's supposed to talk to Diane. Diane's supposed to be telling her, you need to get this done or whatever. You know, I said, exactly. I'm ready for her to be hauled off. Like, it's about that time now. Now, if something worse happened, it's on Alexis. It's on Alexis because you had the opportunity. Then, now, it's like Rick said, you gave Alexis 24 hours to come up with a plan, but she ain't using it. She ain't using it or whatever. I was like, what if they figure out that you trying to have committed? What if they figure out you trying to have her committed or whatever? I said, can they arrest her and then have her committed? Look, I don't know how this works, y'all. But yeah, I think that's it. I think that's everything. Let me know y'all thoughts on this episode down below. Oh wait, I forgot to mention. I think I mentioned this on Friday. Ava got the car. So when Lucky went there asking about it, the dude was like, it's gone or whatever. He lied. He lied. I said, how Ava got money to pay this man? She said something about she paid him or whatever to say that, you know, it's gone or whatever. But yeah, Ava got the car. I think she said it's at one of her galleries or something like that. But yeah, let me see. That's it. That's all. Let me know y'all thoughts on this episode down below. Stay tuned for the next review. Until next time, deuces, have a great rest of the day and be safe.